Hey guys! Oh, I'm so sorry that it took me a little longer. I've been planning this, and the thing is that you guys know that I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two little boys, Matthew and Michael, and normally on Thursdays I don't work, mostly because it's the day that I decide to give them, particularly because I work on Saturdays. So here in Qatar, where I live, Fridays are kind of like the Sunday back in my old world in Venezuela. And then Saturdays are kind of it's a busier day. A lot of people work, some people don't work. So I see clients on Saturdays, which means that my other day of the weekend, I get to spend with my clients and doing things, doing some other stuff. So I normally on Thursday take either half day or full day off to do errands for the family, to spend time with the boys. That's also the day that I tend to go to coffees with friends, or maybe take them to activities. That day sometimes we go out for a meal or whatever. And my eldest Matthew is still not back to school, and Mikey was just back yesterday and today, but today I had a friend over, so we started talking. We're both mompreneurs, we're both young, and we have little kids, and so the kids were playing and everything kind of like went backwards. And the reason why I wanted to, let me see, there we go. The reason why I wanted to do it this live is because I was talking to, actually I was talking to my coach, and we were talking about keto and why do I love keto so much and why do I believe in keto so much. And one thing that it really, really pisses me off is when I get people telling me, oh, you are promoting a very unhealthy lifestyle or something, and I'm like, no, this is not it. So I wanted to tell you guys, how did I get into keto? Because a lot of people don't know, but the reality is that all my life I struggled with my weight, like since I was around 5. I remember being right before I graduated from preschool. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and feeling fat. In fact, at 5, we did a play, right? The play you do before graduation at the end of each school year. And I always loved theater. I actually did 8 years of theater, but in this play they made me the cow in the play, and I remember thinking, I am the cow because I'm fat. And when I look at the photos of back then, now I realize that I was not fat at all. But it was a culture, it was a mindset. And you need to understand that I come from Venezuela, so we have this weight of Miss Venezuela and Miss Universe on our shoulders, right? So basically, I've been dieting since I was around 6, and I'm 33. So that means 27 years of diets. I did the cabbage soup diet. I did the pineapple diet. I did long fast followed by binge eating. I did Atkins before it was fashionable. I did low fat, high carb. I did them all. I tried everything. At some point I did detoxes, when you lose like 3 kilos and then you gain them when you go back to normal, right? I did shakes. I did everything. In fact, I did plastic surgery. I did a tummy tuck, some lipo and breast enhancement when I was 20. And I still kept on gaining the weight. At my lowest in that, I was probably around 70 something, and at my heaviest I was crossing 100. So I have been in that spectrum. I have wore clothes that when I think about it now, I'm like, oh my God, I have felt ashamed of myself. I have felt worthless because of the way I look and the way that I had. I was bullied in school. Every day was a struggle to look at myself in the mirror and think, if only I lost X amount of kilos. My New Year resolutions every single year since I remember were to lose weight. And it was never about being healthy, it was always about being thin. I wanted to be thin because I wanted to be beautiful. My mom used to be a dancer. She's always very glamorous, very elegant, and I felt like I was a whale. I felt like this heavy, worthless piece of shit. And so when I joined this path that led me to coaching, because originally I am a journalist major, so I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and I work on TV, radio, and cinema in Venezuela. And then I moved to Argentina. My dad was Argentinian, so I'm an Argentinian resident. I did some branding there, and that was probably when I hit my heaviest weight ever, which it passed 100 kilos. And then I ended up here in Qatar. And after a horrendously abusive relationship that I had here, I had gained even more weight, and I was done. I was done with myself. It wasn't that I was done with being unhealthy. I was done with me. I basically was so used to looking at myself in the mirror and feeling fat, horrible. And it's not even that fat is a bad thing, because I have said proudly, I am fat and that's okay. But it was feeling lacking, feeling not enough, feeling ugly, feeling disgusted by myself. I would spend hours just poking and prodding and pulling and talking and doing everything, because it wasn't enough. I had done some plastic surgery as a magic pill, which also I also took magic pills, right? So, and still the weight keep coming back. I would do a fat diet. I would lose 4 or 5 kilos, and then I would stop, and then I would gain them back. And then one day I met someone who started teaching me how to love myself. And through this process, I made a commitment with myself. I basically said, I cannot be more unhappy than I am right now. I cannot hate myself any more than I hate myself right now. So I might as well try to change things. And I made a commitment to myself, and I said, okay, so for the next, I just came out of this horrendous relationship. So I said, for the next, I don't care how many months or years, I'm going to start being healthy. Because what happened was that I will walk and I will be I'm barely breathing. I used to smoke at some point also. I will eat anything and everything. I will eat my feelings. So I said, khalas, I'm going to change things. I started going to the gym. Then I met someone who started teaching me how to love myself, which was my now husband. Even though I had made a pact not to date anyone for a while, but you know how it is. And then after that trip, we had a trip together in Europe, and my husband is 19 years older than me, but he could walk at a better pace and better than me. I would be weeping all the time. I would be wheezing because I was so out of shape, after a lifetime of thinking that my body was something that I needed to torture into shape, but not to enjoy. So I didn't enjoy exercise or anything. I just started looking at exercise at the beginning as a way of punishing myself into thinness. That's how it all started for me. Anyway, 2 years went by. I lost almost 40 kilos. And I'm getting ready to get married. And I am at my lightest ever, which was 62 kilos. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And I look beautiful. And yet the only thing that I kept telling me was, you should have tried harder. You're still fat. This is why, to me, keto is not a fat diet that I put my clients on to lose 20 kilos in 5 weeks. Because this was my mindset for many, many years. My mindset was, if I nail the diet, the weight will go off and then I will be worthy. 62 kilos, looking like a flipping angel, so beautiful in my wedding day, and I couldn't enjoy it because all I could think of was, I should be thinner. I get married. Still with a lot of triggers around my weight and around my body and around my worthiness, because I never healed them. I just lost the weight, but I was still feeling really, really, really worthless and really, really, really small. So I kept poking. I will exercise between 2 and 4 hours a day. I will count every single gram of food that enter my lips. I will be obsessed with losing more and losing more and losing more, even though I was at a really healthy weight. Then I got pregnant, then I had Matthew, and when I had Matthew, my thyroid went berserk, and within 6 weeks, I gained 12 kilos in one go. Imagine a new mom that has already struggled with antenatal depression and now is struggling with breastfeeding and motherhood, because motherhood is hard and breastfeeding is natural, but it's so hard. And I gain weight. So my sense of worthiness evaporates. And this is how I become a health coach. So first I started studying. I actually graduated right after Matthew was born. And I started working and hustling my way into thinness, because in my brain, thinness equal beauty equal worth. So for me, as long as I was thin and beautiful, I was worthy. telling this story is so weird because now I'm like, holy shit, that feels like a lifetime ago. Anyway, after I had Matthew, I had postnatal depression, and they discovered that my thyroid wasn't great, so we started working on it. And then my doctor said something very simple. He was like, if you ever want to function like a normal human being, you need to go on these pills. And I didn't want to go on the pills because before, during my teenage year, I had been medicated for depression, and I felt like shit, so I didn't want to go back through it. And then finally, I started talking to a really cool naturopath, and she said to me, you don't have to, why don't you start doing it with diet? I mean, you are a wellness coach, but my wellness coaching training was very, very, very scarce in how to really, really use diet and lifestyle to transform your life. So I started reading everything I could. I learned about paleo, I learned about autoimmune protocols, I started studying nutrigenomics and nutrition and functional medicine, and I started studying all these things and coming to the conclusion that there had to be something more that I could do for myself. Now, I'm gonna be very, very honest, full disclosure, at the beginning, I just wanted to be thin. I just wanted to feel beautiful again. I just wanted to look at myself in the mirror without thinking, ugh, which is what I felt most of my time. That's what I felt when I look at myself in the mirror, ugh. Fortunately, through this journey of studying and reading and doing all these things, I started to fall back and back again in this whole new field of study, which is called epigenetics. And I started to see the triggers, how food and other lifestyle things can actually trigger different genes in us to be switched on and off, and how that happens. And I started getting very passionate, and I started learning more and more and more, and doing little courses and taking, small workshops, because I was so fascinated. Can I change my genetics? And at this point, it was the same. I just wanted to see if I could change me so that I would be lovable. But after I studied everything and I started to nail my diet, and then feeling better, emotionally better, and not feeling foggy, because part of my autoimmune condition, which is Hashimoto's, I will get very foggy, and when I get foggy, I get very triggered. My joints stop hurting. I have arthritis, and my joints will be very, very stiff, and that stopped happening, and I'm stronger, and I'm lifting weight during CrossFit, and I'm feeling better on myself. And then through this, I started studying more the emotional component. So I started studying mindfulness and other stuff, and I started doing the inner work so that I could feel good about myself and about my body. Not because I was thin, or because I reached this weight, or because I fit into this size X dress, but because I was me, because I was loving myself, because I was allowing me to be nourished. And so when I discovered keto at the beginning, keto was a new way of torture that I created to lose weight and be worthy. Except that it started to shift. And I started to realize that when I was eating keto, I fell on top of the fucking world. I was like, boom. Suddenly I could think. I had like proper thoughts, ideas, full on, that I didn't have to struggle with to get. I could sleep. My stomach felt amazing. My skin felt good again. I had more energy. I was getting stronger. And a side effect was that the weight did move. At the beginning, it was more inflammation. It wasn't a massive weight loss. It was more inflammation that stopped to happen. So my joints were feeling great. I had more energy. I was pregnant back then. No, I was just getting pregnant. And I was feeling, holy shit, this could be it. This could be the thing that I was missing. So I started to play with it, and then during my pregnancy, I did a low carb, not so much keto thing, because I was protecting the baby, especially since I have a thyroid condition. And then my kid was born, and I'm feeling really well, and I recovered. And even though the statistics show that women who have had postnatal depression in the past are 60% more likely to have it in the future, I didn't get it. And not only that, but I felt amazing. I had no unexplained weight gain. It was just a lot of things happening. So I started to realize that this way of eating really matched me. And so when I started seeing clients that I saw had similar symptoms that I had, I said, why don't you try it? Now, we're talking about 2 years ago, 2 years ago, where keto wasn't a thing that everyone would talk about. Keto was this rare thing that most people will look at me. In fact, I have so many dietitians looking at me and saying, you're promoting something horrendous. People is going to have kidney stones and people is just going to have a heart attack. And I will be like, no. You need to pay attention. This is amazing. Because I have been playing with biohacking pretty much for 6 years now. So I was like, no. Listen. You're going to love it. And this is how keto started to be more than just a diet for me. Because I started to see that my body ran like a super machine on keto. And it wasn't about weight anymore. I just couldn't care less about weight. My weight has been stable for the last 2 years because I fit it well. Yes, sometimes I gain a little bit of weight and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But I can think and I can tackle shit and I can create space because I'm no longer attacking at myself and poking and saying you're fat and you're chubby and look at yourself and and grabbing rolls and putting all the time my tummy so tight that I couldn't breathe. Now I'm like because I found a diet that really worked for me. I found a lifestyle that works for me. That's why for me keto is not just a fat diet. To me, keto is the way I live. Is the fact that I am not constantly craving things. Because I know that, I could have a croissant, but how am I going to feel tomorrow? Is the fact that I'm no longer trying to medicate myself by eating. Is the fact that now I can take my kids to the cinema and they can have popcorn and I'm fine just sitting there because I'm not hungry. And I'm not hungry not because I'm killing myself or I'm starving myself. I'm not hungry because I'm seriously not hungry, because I'm really nicely nourished. This is what keto did for me. It changed my life because for the first time I was not looking for the magic pill that would make me lose 20 kilos in 5 days like I always was. Keto became part of my self-care routine. When I eat on keto, when I do everything that I need to do to remain in that state of ketosis, I don't have any aches. My joints are loose. My brain works amazing. I don't feel depressed all the time like I felt most of my life. I am great. I'm happy. And I'm actually able to help more people because I am not constantly thinking that I need to not eat this or eat that. Because that's the other thing. When you are hooked all the time on diet and diet mentality, you're not living. You're constantly thinking, what is my next nap, my next trick, I don't think that way anymore. That is something that keto gave me. The freedom to live without having my life around the next treat or the next cheat meal or the next diet that I was going to start the next day. In fact, now, whenever I think to myself, I need to do a detox or I need to do this or I need to do that, I know that's coming from a place of lacking. And most of the time that place of lacking comes because I haven't nourished myself. When I don't do self-care consistently, when I don't meditate and I don't journal and I don't allow my life to have some space for me to be me, I start to poke at myself. I start to think, I need a diet, I need to poke at something because that's my factory setting. I always tell my clients, you are like an iPhone. You have a factory setting that whenever you are triggered enough, you are going to revert to. And mine is dieting or medicating myself with carbs. That is my thing. For you, it might be, I don't know, shopping online or drinking or shouting or driving really fast cars. I don't know. For me, now I know that whenever I poke at my weight, it's because I'm not really nourished. So keto in my life is not another way that I'm going to torture myself into thinness, but it's a way that I show me that I care, that I show me that my body is a temple, and that when I'm on it, I can help others feel the same way. This is why keto to me is a gift for the world, because when it's done as self-care, it takes you places that you wouldn't be able to go otherwise. It helped my clients who work as pilots or as cabin crew to go through long flights without having the munchies and feeling much better and much more focused. It helps my moms clients who are really, really stressed because they have the kids and they're trying to do 20 things, not feel so reactive, because it's not just about not eating carbs. It's about using diet to nourish yourself fully. And then there's all the emotional work that we do together. So this is my approach to keto, and I really, really wanted to tell you guys about it, because I don't think enough people get why that I'm a feminist and I am always talking about supporting women and women empowerment. How am I talking about diet? Because it's not about the weight loss. It's about holding yourself with full value and saying, hey, I'm worthy. And if I'm worthy, I need to find the best nourishment for me. And for you, it might be keto, or it might be veganism, or it might be a mix, or it might be a match, or it might be something that you create and you call it youism. I don't know. What I want you to do is to try to find it for you, because you are worthy. And if you are inspired by this and you want to give keto a go, as self-care, as something that's going to truly transform your life, I have a great, great, great deal for you guys. If you go to my profile here and you click on the link, you're going to see that there's a big button that says get the ultimate keto bundle. And for $29, you're going to get my ebook and my masterclass, where you can start keto on your own terms. Keto is not just about weight loss. It's about fueling your body with the best tools through a high-fat, low-carb diet. It's about nourishing yourself. This is what I promote. I don't care if you lose weight or not. You might or you might not. I care that more women are out there passionately working on their dreams, feeling nourished and feeling cared for. And that's why I love keto. Now, I'm going to tackle one of the questions that I got today. The other one is a little bit more complex, so I'm going to tackle just one. Someone asked me today if we had to track macros really strictly. And I want to tell you, no, you really don't have to. If you buy my ebook, you're going to have all the information there so you can do keto on your terms. What does that mean? That maybe you are not going to have, like I have a client who hates avocados and he doesn't eat avocados and still he's in ketosis. So you're going to have a list of all the ingredients, plus you're going to have some recipes so that you can really start moving towards keto on your terms. Tracking macros is what I use with my clients. If and only if we have already worked on several sessions and they are not entering ketosis on their own. They're not seeing the benefits. They're not seeing the clarity. If their aim is to lose weight, they are not losing the weight. That is how I track macros. At the beginning, I don't track them. In fact, because I'm a recovered anorexic, because that's one of the many things that I did to my body into torturing it into thinness. I hate tracking macros. I hate it. What I tell my clients, first we can take photos of your food, and through taking the photos of the food we can kind of assess if maybe you need to up your fat or maybe lower a little bit more the carbs. That's how we work it. And if you have tried that and you're still not in the zone, then it's when I start, let's track them. Let's track them for a week and see what's happening. Now, you have the bundle and it's only $29 for my ebook and my masterclass, where you're even going to have more information, and you can go to the link now. And also, if you say, you know what, I just want more support, remember I have two amazing offerings. The first one is my Starting Keto Right online coaching group, and it's $297, but if you use the promo code JAN2019, so JAN 2019, you will get 20% off from it. And the other thing is that let's say that you don't want to wait until the 26th of January to start the class, to start the program. You want to start keto right now, but you feel that you don't have enough support to do it on your own. No issues. You can go to my website and you can join my one-on-one program. This is when you and I sit and we crack keto. It's 10 weeks. It will give you results for sure. And you can use the same code, JAN2019, for 20% off. It's $797, and don't ask me right now how much is after the discount because I don't know. But you can use that code and you start tomorrow if you, well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't work on Friday. But you could start on Saturday and we can start getting you towards keto on your turn. So what does that mean? We'll have a long consultation where we're going to talk about what you like, what you don't like, what will have been your issues with keto if you have tried it, or what are your issues with food in general. We're going to have 6 check-ins where we're going to talk about weight, and we're going to twist things if we need to, and finally we'll get a final session, a 90-minute session on your 10th week, where I will give you all the tools you need so you can succeed on your own. Don't do this on your own. Let me help you. So you have 3 things that I have mentioned here. The first one is my Ultimate Keto Bundle, which is the ebook Starting Keto Right with the masterclass. It's only $29. Then you can join my Starting Keto Right program, which starts on January 26th and is only $297, but with 20% off. Or you can start tomorrow with my VIP offering, which is my Keto Made For You program, which is $797, but you can use the same code and get a 20% off. So there you go. And my goal with keto is to transform the way everyone sees their food so that they stop getting emotional components around it and they really, really thrive on it. They really see food as this amazing fuel that transforms their lives. So I have gone a little bit longer than I expected, but I really wanted to tell you guys my story so you can see that you're not alone. I have been there and I want to help you out of there. So come on, join me and let's transform the way you see food forever. Have a wonderful night and talk to you guys soon. Bye.